Alright, welcome back to Kamen Review, episode 250. Well, basically, we're discussing episodes 14 to 16 of Kamen Rider 01. Also, with these episodes, when I finish watching them, I basically have, get this, 29. Excuse me. Yes, you heard me correctly. 29 episodes left to go for the whole series. And I only plan to do about 14 more, and then I'm going on break. Yep. So in these particular episodes, basically we deal with basically the terror organization. We find out where they are. The president of Zelma Enterprises is slowly moving the back, or he does make a move until the end of episode 15 here. And we discover kind of in a way where they are. But we also basically in episode 14 meet the astronauts who are Hemigears in charge of maintaining the Zaya satellite. You know, the thing that's been appearing in the series since episode 1. Yep. So yep, out to running late, of course. So he decides to call upon his motorcycle to help him get to work, which is still kind of late, and of course, basically all about the vice president really wants to pose him so he can be president so badly. Which, okay. And then, of course, he meets the astronauts. Now, this is also the first time in the series we don't have a client for these particular Hemigears, because normally a lot of the time, usually it's a client or someone hires a Hemigear. These Hemigears are the first ones since episode 2, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's episode 2, who actually work for Hidden Enterprises. Yes, as their personal astronauts. Also, they mentioned the subject of Hemigears. They can't take out helmets in space, despite the fact they actually have no problem breathing. But if they do, create an error. Though the guy in charge, the older brother of the two, doesn't really give a damn. Also, he's very emotional for Hemigear. Yeah. And then, of course, he gets... And, of course, Jin tries to corrupt him, but it doesn't work. You're like, what? It doesn't work? That's kind of weird. Yeah, we later find out that this was actually planned, of him basically faking it. And eventually he is converted, and he ends up basically taking a bunch of these Hemigear keys, and somehow while they're fighting, this activates the arc. They've been building this up for quite a while. And we have a new phase key. And it's a wolf. And Fuwa steals it and transforms. Take on Jin and Hobu. Hobu actually gets injured and almost dies. So I think he's a Hemigear. So, in the case of the astronaut who's basically male, the one who's brother, the other brother, he actually gets destroyed here because he's converted, because he's a spy. And so they have 14 habit where the younger brother, Ataru, and Ayasa basically go visit the family grave, which apparently the guy who looked at the father, his parts are buried here too. Because looking at his father, and this was sold for scrap, they kept him here at the grave. And Ayasa basically remembers, oh yeah, how it was like to have family, basically her brother, who just died in the previous two-parter. It was like an episode, I think it was it's been a couple episodes at this point since he died. And they do mention basically, I believe the new key that he got is actually kind of the brother's essence inside the key. Basically his memories. Which, okay, thought that was really cool. I am actually surprised they didn't show him in the white room they usually have. That would be nice to show him there, but nope, they never do. Which, yeah, I thought it was kind of weird. So, and thank you, silly, they find out where the terrorist station is. They're in Daybreak Town. That's the whole thing with the whole thing, terrorist organization. So, and then eventually he's destroyed. And then, of course, Fuwa gets injured. He basically, after he transforms, he ends up coughing up blood. Damn. So, then, of course, he organizes a full-scale assault on Daybreak Town in order to destroy the terrorist organization. And during the course, this Hiromu gets nearly destroyed, and Jin not happy with the fact that Isa basically is smiling the fact that his father figure is basically a deathbed. So basically he tries to murder Isa. So Ataru takes her back to headquarters. So there's also a question about him being removed. So they use the Zaya satellite, which they still have access to fix the body. Which, not a bad idea to do. So, and then of course throughout this, they unlock basically more power with eventually defeat Jin here in this two-parter. After Jin is defeated, by the way, he is defeated basically roughly 8 minutes into episode 16. Yes, Hirobu actually surprisingly survives. And then, of course, the Zaya president, basically, Gao, he just shows up at their headquarters. Okay, first of which, how the heck did they were even there? And we find out that, oh, he's the one who created the Ark in the first place. Why? Don't know why at this point. We got a lot of revelations here. So, yeah. The Hamburgers won't go berserking. So, the vote basically of his merger when he was removed as president. But, given the fact he took on terror organization, they all basically decided not to remove him. And then more Hamburgers show up to cause havoc, so the claim is that it won't go berserking. They defeat them, and of course he tries to explain, and then Gaia shows up like, oh, he's the Zaya president. And he's like, I hereby announce, basically, T-O-B. What is that? Takeover bid. Basically, a house takeover. Yeah, he has a strong desire for hidden intelligence. Okay. And this great sets up the very next arc of the series. Oh, it's a great three-parter. I thoroughly enjoy these. These were fantastic. As for to get the double key, they don't mention to get the but also it does get back the wing key that was taken from 7 episodes ago, which that was really cool. Yep. And at this point, it is now officially time to put the series on pause until I get through the first 15 episodes of Cure Major and the first 16 episodes of Blue SWAT, okay? So, as usual, guys, I'll probably do it tomorrow. I'll probably do it later, okay? Thanks for you. Bye.